Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The ability to remain calm in any situation begins with mastering emotional triggers. People often react based on deep-seated habits formed over time. When faced with stress, fear, or uncertainty, emotions take over, leading to impulsive decisions, anxiety, or frustration. Developing emotional mastery requires understanding personal triggers, interrupting negative patterns, and replacing them with intentional, controlled responses. This practice shifts reactions from automatic to deliberate, allowing calmness to become a natural state rather than a temporary effort. One of the most effective ways to master emotional triggers is to develop self-awareness. Many people go through life reacting rather than responding, unaware of how their emotions control their behavior. When stress arises, it is crucial to pause and identify the emotion being experienced. Instead of being consumed by it, observing it objectively creates space between the emotion and the reaction. A simple question such as, "What am I feeling right now?" or "Why am I reacting this way?" can shift the focus from impulsive reaction to conscious choice. The more this practice is integrated, the less control external events have over inner states. Another key strategy is reprogramming limiting beliefs. Many emotional triggers are rooted in past experiences and learned associations. For example, if someone grew up in an environment where failure was seen as unacceptable, they may experience extreme stress when facing challenges. Their mind has been conditioned to associate setbacks with personal inadequacy. By identifying and reframing these beliefs, new perspectives can be created. Instead of seeing failure as a threat, it can be viewed as an opportunity to learn and grow. Shifting beliefs changes emotional responses, allowing for a more composed and resilient mindset. Managing expectations is another critical component of maintaining calmness. Much of the frustration and stress people experience comes from unrealistic expectations, expecting others to behave a certain way, expecting situations to unfold perfectly, or expecting immediate results. When reality does not match expectations, stress arises. Instead of resisting what is, choosing to accept and adapt creates inner peace. Expectations can be adjusted by focusing on what can be controlled while letting go of what cannot. This shift prevents unnecessary emotional turmoil and creates a more flexible, adaptable mindset. Developing a habit of detachment also enhances emotional stability. People often become emotionally entangled with outcomes, relationships, or situations. When something does not go as planned, they experience disappointment, frustration, or anxiety. Practicing detachment does not mean indifference. It means not allowing external circumstances to dictate emotional well-being. It involves doing the best that can be done in any situation while remaining unattached to the result. This mindset prevents external situations from having power over inner peace. Breath work and mindfulness play a significant role in breaking emotional triggers. When stress levels rise, the body shifts into a fight or flight response, leading to shallow breathing, increased heart rate, and tension. This physiological state reinforces negative emotions. Learning to control breathing shifts the nervous system into a state of relaxation. Simple techniques like deep belly breathing, box breathing, or slow exhales activate the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting calmness. The more these techniques are practiced, the easier it becomes to reset emotions quickly in stressful situations. Shifting focus from problems to solutions is a powerful way to maintain calmness. When faced with difficulties, many people dwell on what is wrong, magnifying stress. Training the mind to focus on solutions creates a sense of control and confidence. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" shifting to, "What can I do about this?" changes the entire perspective. Challenges become opportunities and emotions remain balanced. This simple shift transforms problems into stepping stones rather than obstacles. Developing mental resilience through controlled exposure to stress strengthens emotional control. Instead of avoiding discomfort, intentionally placing oneself in slightly challenging situations and practicing calm responses builds tolerance. This could be done through cold exposure, fasting, or controlled high-pressure situations. By training the mind and body to remain calm in minor stressors, the ability to handle bigger challenges without losing composure is significantly enhanced. Training the mind to remain calm is an ongoing process that requires practice and intention. By becoming aware of emotional triggers, shifting beliefs, managing expectations, detaching from outcomes, using breath work, focusing on solutions, and strengthening resilience, emotional control can be mastered. The ability to remain calm under pressure is not just a trait, but a skill that transforms how life is experienced. Life is unpredictable. Challenges arise, situations spiral out of control, and unexpected obstacles threaten to disrupt peace of mind. In those moments, the difference between feeling overwhelmed and staying composed lies in the ability to control personal responses rather than external circumstances. Many people spend their lives trying to change the world around them, but the true power lies in mastering inner reactions. When this realization is embraced, external chaos loses its grip, and an unshakable sense of calm can be developed. One of the greatest misconceptions is that stress comes from external situations. In reality, stress is not created by events, but by the meaning attached to them. Two people can experience the same situation. One panics while the other remains composed. The difference lies in perception, beliefs, and the ability to manage emotion. Instead of trying to control things beyond reach, the focus must shift inward. When personal responses are managed, peace remains intact regardless of what happens externally. Training the mind to stay calm starts with awareness. Most people react on autopilot, allowing emotions to take over without questioning them. The first step in taking control is recognizing the patterns of response. When stress arises, rather than reacting immediately, it is important to pause and become aware of thoughts and emotions. Awareness creates space, allowing for a conscious choice in how to respond. The more this is practiced, the more control is gained over emotions rather than being controlled by them. Another powerful strategy is shifting perspective. Often, stress is created by focusing on what is wrong, unfair, or beyond control. This mental habit fuels anxiety and frustration. However, the mind can be trained to see things differently. Instead of focusing on the problem, attention should be directed toward solutions. Instead of dwelling on obstacles, the opportunity for growth within the challenge should be sought. Every situation, no matter how difficult, has a lesson or a way to emerge stronger. When focus shifts from fear to empowerment, calmness follows naturally. Emotional regulation also plays a key role in maintaining composure. Feelings of stress and frustration are often intensified by internal dialogue, the things people say to themselves in moments of pressure. Negative self-talk fuels negative emotions. Statements like, "I can't handle this," or "this is too much," trigger panic and overwhelm. Replacing them with empowering beliefs such as, "I am in control," or "I can figure this out," creates a different emotional response. Words shape emotions, and emotions shape reality. Training the mind to speak in empowering ways shifts the entire experience of any situation. In addition to mindset shifts, physiology must be managed. The body and mind are deeply connected. When feeling stressed, the body responds by tensing muscles, speeding up the heart rate, and shortening breaths. This physiological state reinforces feelings of anxiety. To regain control, the body must be relaxed. Deep breathing is a powerful tool. Long, slow breaths send a signal to the brain that it is safe, triggering a state of calm. Changing posture also affects emotions. Standing tall with relaxed shoulders and an open stance creates a sense of confidence and control. Moving the body through exercise, stretching, or even a short walk releases tension and resets emotional states. By managing physiology, the mind follows suit. One of the most effective habits for maintaining calmness is practicing gratitude. Stress often stems from a focus on what is lacking or going wrong. Shifting attention to what is going right changes everything. Gratitude rewires the brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Taking a moment to appreciate what is good in life, even in the midst of chaos, creates an instant sense of peace. It is impossible to feel both gratitude and stress at the same time. Developing a daily gratitude practice builds a foundation of emotional stability that makes it easier to remain calm in difficult moments. Calmness is not a trait people are born with. It is a skill that must be developed and practiced. The ability to control responses rather than circumstances is one of the most powerful skills to master. When the mind is trained to remain steady, no situation holds the power to disrupt inner peace. Challenges become manageable, obstacles become stepping stones, and stress becomes an opportunity for growth. The world may remain unpredictable, but personal responses can always be within control. Mastering the art of staying calm in any situation requires a shift in perception. Most people experience stress not because of the situation itself, but because of how they interpret it. The mind is conditioned to react based on past experiences, fears, and ingrained beliefs, which shape emotional responses. Learning to reframe situations and control focus allows a person to break free from automatic reactions and choose how to respond rather than be controlled by emotions. One of the first steps in shifting perception is recognizing that emotions are not reality. When faced with a challenge, the mind often exaggerates the situation, making it seem worse than it actually is. Fear, anxiety, and frustration are amplified by imagined outcomes that may never happen. By stepping back and questioning thoughts, a person gains control over emotions. Asking, is this really as bad as it seems? Or what is the worst that can happen? Reduces emotional intensity. Seeing situations objectively rather than emotionally changes the entire experience. Language plays a significant role in emotional states. The words people use shape how they feel. Saying, this is terrible, or I can't handle this. Using empowering language shifts the mindset, saying, this is a challenge, but I can figure it out. Or, I have handled worse before, instantly creates a sense of calm and control. Small changes in language create significant changes in emotional responses. The mind believes what it is told repeatedly, so choosing words wisely determines the level of emotional strength in any situation. Another powerful technique for shifting perception is practicing gratitude. When stress arises, the mind focuses on what is wrong, magnifying problems. Gratitude interrupts this pattern by shifting focus to what is good. No matter how difficult a situation seems, there is always something to be grateful for. Shifting focus to gratitude instantly changes emotional states, making it easier to remain calm. Developing a habit of gratitude through journaling, reflection, or verbal acknowledgement builds emotional resilience over time. Controlling physiology is a crucial component of maintaining calmness. The mind and body are connected, and how a person holds themselves physically influences their emotional state. When stressed, the body tenses up, breathing becomes shallow, and posture collapses. This physical state reinforces negative emotions. Changing physiology, standing tall, breathing deeply, and relaxing the muscles sends a signal to the brain that everything is under control. Power poses, movement, and controlled breathing techniques are simple but effective ways to shift emotions instantly. Visualization is a powerful tool for training the mind to remain calm. The brain does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences, meaning mental rehearsals create neural pathways that prepare the mind for real-life situations. Athletes, performers, and high achievers use visualization to condition themselves for success. Practicing mental imagery of staying calm in challenging situations creates a blueprint for the mind to follow when those situations arise. By repeatedly visualizing calm responses, the brain becomes wired to handle stress with composure. Shifting perception also involves embracing uncertainty rather than resisting it. Many people struggle with stress because they fear the unknown. However, life is inherently uncertain, and the more one tries to control everything, the more stress is created. Learning to trust in one's ability to adapt rather than fearing change creates a sense of peace. Instead of seeing uncertainty as a threat, reframing it as an opportunity for growth and adventure changes the way the mind reacts. The ability to stay calm in uncertain situations determines the level of success and fulfillment a person experiences. Another key element of shifting perception is adopting a long-term perspective. When faced with stress, people often react as if the situation is permanent. However, most challenges are temporary and will not matter in the long run. Asking, will this matter in a year, or what can I learn from this, helps reframe the situation. Taking a step back and seeing the bigger picture prevents unnecessary stress and allows a person to navigate challenges with greater ease. Training the mind to remain calm is a lifelong practice that requires intentionality. By shifting perception, controlling language, practicing gratitude, managing physiology, using visualization, embracing uncertainty, and maintaining a long-term perspective, emotional mastery becomes second nature. The ability to stay calm in any situation is not just about reacting differently. It is about transforming the way challenges are perceived. Emotional resilience is the foundation of staying calm in any situation. It is the ability to adapt, recover, and grow from challenges without being consumed by stress, fear, or frustration. Developing emotional resilience begins with self-awareness, understanding how thoughts and emotions shape reactions. Without self-awareness, emotions dictate responses, leading to impulsive actions, heightened stress, and unnecessary suffering. When a person becomes aware of their emotional triggers, they can take control rather than being controlled. Recognizing patterns of frustration, anxiety, or anger allows for intentional adjustments in thinking and behavior. The ability to regulate emotions starts with reframing challenges. When something stressful happens, most people default to negative interpretations, reinforcing feelings of helplessness or frustration. However, successful individuals train themselves to see challenges as opportunities. Instead of thinking, this is unfair, or I can't handle this, they ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can this situation make me stronger? The brain responds to the questions it is given, so shifting the internal dialogue reshapes emotional responses. Another key aspect of emotional resilience is detaching from immediate emotional reactions. Many people assume that emotions must be acted upon immediately, but emotions are temporary and often misleading. Taking a step back and observing emotions before responding creates space between feeling and action. This can be done through deep breathing, counting to 10, or physically moving to a different environment to gain perspective. The ability to delay reactions reduces impulsive decisions and prevents unnecessary stress. Developing resilience also involves shifting focus from what cannot be controlled to what can be controlled. Stress is often amplified by focusing on external circumstances, but the only true control lies in personal actions, thoughts, and responses. When faced with an overwhelming situation, shifting attention to what can be done in the present moment brings clarity and calmness. Asking, what is one small action I can take right now, transforms overwhelming problems into manageable steps. Practicing mindfulness enhances emotional resilience by training the mind to remain present. Most stress arises from dwelling on past mistakes or fearing future uncertainties. Mindfulness anchors attention to the present, reducing unnecessary mental suffering. Simple practices such as mindful breathing, meditation, or even focusing entirely on a task without distraction strengthen the ability to remain calm. The more the mind is trained to stay in the present, the less it reacts to imagined fears or past regrets. Building emotional resilience also requires developing a strong sense of purpose. People who have a clear vision, mission, or personal values are more likely to withstand challenges without being emotionally overwhelmed. When stress arises, reminding oneself of the bigger purpose helps reframe the situation. Asking, how does this challenge fit into my long-term goals? Provides motivation to push forward rather than getting stuck in temporary struggles. A strong purpose serves as an emotional anchor, keeping the mind stable even in chaotic circumstances. Social support plays a crucial role in emotional resilience. The human brain is wired for connection, and having supportive relationships significantly reduces stress. Talking to a trusted friend, mentor, or family member provides perspective and helps process emotions in a healthy way. People who isolate themselves during stressful situations often magnify their problems, while those who seek support find solutions faster. Surrounding oneself with positive, resilient individuals also reinforces calmness and emotional strength. Resilient individuals cultivate optimism, not by ignoring challenges, but by focusing on solutions rather than problems. They train their minds to see possibilities rather than limitations. Instead of thinking this is impossible, they ask, what are the options? Or who can help me solve this? The brain responds to the questions it is given. And optimistic thinking rewires the mind for calmness and problem solving. Taking care of the body is equally important for emotional resilience. Poor sleep, unhealthy eating, and lack of exercise weaken the ability to handle stress. Sleep deprivation increases emotional reactivity, while proper rest enhances cognitive function and emotional regulation. Physical activity releases endorphins, reducing stress and improving mood. A well-nourished body supports a resilient mind, making it easier to remain calm in any situation. Emotional resilience is built through intentional habits, including reframing challenges, delaying emotional reactions, focusing on what can be controlled, practicing mindfulness, developing purpose, seeking social support, cultivating optimism, and maintaining physical health. The ability to remain calm is not about avoiding stress, but about developing the inner strength to handle it with clarity, confidence, and composure. Training the mind to stay calm in any situation requires mastering the art of self-regulation, which involves consciously managing thoughts, emotions, and physical responses. When faced with unexpected challenges, the natural instinct is often to react impulsively, allowing emotions such as fear, frustration, or anxiety to take control. However, learning to recognize these automatic responses and replacing them with deliberate, measured reactions can transform the way one navigates stress. Self-regulation starts with awareness, which means observing emotional responses without immediately acting on them. Developing this ability involves paying attention to bodily cues, such as increased heart rate, tension in the muscles, or rapid breathing. These physiological signs serve as indicators that the body is entering a heightened emotional state. And recognizing them in the moment allows for conscious intervention. One of the most effective techniques for self-regulation is controlled breathing. When the body perceives stress, it triggers the fight or flight response, which leads to shallow, rapid breathing and an increased heart rate. Deliberately slowing down the breath signals to the brain that there is no immediate danger, helping to deactivate the stress response. A simple breathing technique, such as inhaling deeply through the nose for 4 counts, holding the breath for 4 counts, and exhaling slowly for 6 to 8 counts, can quickly bring the nervous system back to a state of balance. Practicing controlled breathing regularly conditions the mind and body to remain calm under pressure. Another key component of self-regulation is cognitive reframing, which involves changing the way situations are perceived. The mind interprets events based on existing beliefs, experiences, and thought patterns, but these interpretations are not always accurate or helpful. When faced with a difficult situation, shifting the focus from perceived threats to potential opportunities creates a more constructive mindset. Instead of thinking, this is a disaster, one can ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this challenge to grow? This shift in perspective allows for more rational decision-making and prevents emotional overwhelm. Developing emotional detachment is another powerful tool for maintaining calmness. This does not mean suppressing or ignoring emotions, but rather observing them without becoming consumed by them. Visualization techniques, such as imagining oneself as an observer watching emotions pass like clouds in the sky, help create distance between feelings and reactions. By recognizing that emotions are temporary and do not define reality, it becomes easier to maintain composure in stressful situations. Engaging in regular physical movement is an essential part of training the mind to stay calm. Physical activity, whether it is exercise, stretching, or even a short walk, helps regulate stress hormones and promotes a sense of well-being. Movement also provides an outlet for pent-up tension, allowing the body to reset and refocus. When stress arises, engaging in brief physical activity can immediately shift the mental state and restore clarity. The practice of grounding techniques further enhances the ability to stay calm. When the mind starts spiraling into anxiety or worry, grounding techniques bring attention back to the present moment. One effective method is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, which involves identifying 5 things that can be seen, 4 things that can be felt, 3 things that can be heard, 2 things that can be smelled, and 1 thing that can be tasted. This process shifts focus away from stressors and anchors awareness in the immediate environment. Developing a strong internal dialogue is crucial for self-regulation. The words spoken internally shape emotional responses, so replacing negative self-talk with affirmations and empowering statements builds mental resilience. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, rephrasing to, I am capable of finding a solution, reinforces a sense of control and calmness. Practicing positive self-talk consistently strengthens the ability to remain composed in difficult situations. Building a routine that includes mindfulness and meditation trains the brain to handle stress more effectively. Mindfulness practices enhance the ability to remain present, reducing the tendency to ruminate on past mistakes or worry about the future. Daily meditation, even for just a few minutes, rewires the brain for greater emotional stability. Studies show that regular meditation reduces the size of the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and stress responses, making it easier to stay calm in any situation. Training the mind to stay calm is a lifelong practice that requires consistent effort and self-awareness. The more these techniques are integrated into daily life, the stronger the ability to handle adversity with grace and clarity. Managing external triggers is crucial for maintaining a state of calm, as the environment plays a significant role in shaping emotional responses. External triggers can range from people and social interactions to digital distractions and unexpected events. Recognizing these triggers and learning how to control reactions to them enables a greater sense of emotional stability. Awareness is the first step in managing these triggers effectively. Observing patterns of frustration, stress, or anxiety and identifying what commonly causes them helps in preparing strategies to stay composed when facing them again. One of the most common sources of emotional disturbance is dealing with difficult people. Whether in professional or personal settings, interactions with individuals who are negative, confrontational, or emotionally charged can disrupt mental balance. Practicing emotional distancing allows for maintaining inner peace without absorbing their negativity. Instead of reacting impulsively, pausing to assess the situation objectively prevents unnecessary emotional involvement. Viewing challenging interactions as opportunities to practice patience and control shifts the focus from frustration to personal growth. Another external trigger is digital overload, particularly in a world where notifications, emails, and social media constantly demand attention. The overstimulation from digital interactions often leads to increased stress and decreased ability to focus. Creating boundaries with technology, such as setting specific times to check messages or implementing no phone periods during certain hours of the day, helps in maintaining a clear and calm mindset. Practicing intentional screen breaks reduces digital overwhelm and enhances the ability to remain composed. Unpredictability in life is inevitable, and unexpected events often trigger stress or anxiety. While some people thrive in uncertainty, others find it destabilizing. Developing the mindset that uncertainty is a natural part of life helps in reducing resistance to it. Instead of fearing the unknown, viewing predictability as a space for possibilities shifts perspective toward openness and adaptability. A helpful technique is to ask, what is within my control right now, and directing focus toward actionable steps instead of worrying about unknown factors. Another powerful way to manage external triggers is by creating an environment that promotes calmness. The physical surroundings have a direct impact on emotional well-being. Cluttered, noisy, or chaotic environments contribute to internal agitation, while organized and peaceful spaces encourage relaxation and clarity. Designing a space that reflects calmness with elements such as soft lighting, minimal clutter, and natural elements serves as a daily reinforcement of a tranquil state of mind. Sound is another external factor that affects emotional states. Loud, chaotic noise can be overwhelming, while soothing sounds create an atmosphere of calm. Listening to relaxing music, nature sounds, or practicing moments of intentional silence can reset the nervous system and prevent stress responses from being activated. Being mindful of the auditory environment helps in maintaining composure, even in demanding situations. Time pressure is one of the most common external triggers for stress, often leading to rushed decisions and reactive emotions. Managing time effectively prevents unnecessary pressure and creates space for thoughtful responses. Developing a habit of prioritization, scheduling buffer time between tasks, and setting realistic expectations reduces the urgency that often leads to agitation. By creating a structured approach to time, external pressures become more manageable. Practicing non-reactivity is a valuable skill for staying calm amidst external triggers. Many situations provoke emotional responses, but not every situation requires an immediate reaction. Developing the ability to pause, assess, and then choose a response rather than reacting impulsively prevents unnecessary stress. This skill is particularly useful in conversations, where a deliberate pause before responding allows for thoughtful communication rather than emotionally driven reactions. Another factor that influences emotional stability is the type of content consumed. Constant exposure to negative news, stressful media, or toxic conversations affects mental well-being. Being selective about the information consumed and balancing it with positive, inspiring, or educational content reduces the risk of being overwhelmed by negativity. Setting limits on news consumption or unfollowing sources of negativity helps maintain a peaceful state of mind. Surrounding oneself with supportive and positive influences reinforces the ability to stay calm. The people in close proximity impact thoughts, emotions, and energy levels. Choosing to engage with those who encourage growth, share a sense of calm, and handle challenges with composure creates an environment where it becomes easier to maintain emotional balance. Recognizing toxic influences and minimizing exposure to them prevents unnecessary disturbances. By becoming aware of how external factors influence emotional states and implementing strategies to manage them, a strong foundation for maintaining inner peace is built. Developing habits that promote control over responses to external triggers strengthens emotional resilience and enhances the ability to stay calm in any situation.